Welcome to round 3 of the Penrite ProMX Championship, presented by AMX Superstores in Wodonga, 322 kilometres north of Melbourne, a stone's throw away from the Victoria-New South Wales border on the holidaymakers' lush Murray River. But we're not here for holidays. No, we're here to go racing. Hi, I'm Kate Peck, and with me is 11-time national champion Lee Hogan. Hogs, it's excellent to be here. The sun has come out and the track is running up nicely.
It sure is. We had a major storm come through yesterday. A lot of rain come down. It was muddy. The track crew have prepped it so well. They've ripped it really deep. We've got lots of ruts out there, so many to choose from, but it is fast out there.
Yeah, I tell you what, it's been a brilliant start to the year, but a pretty dramatic one too, as the Thor MX1 Championship is wide open due to some recent news. But firstly, CDR Yamaha Monster Energy's CLOUT is out this weekend after that monumental high side at round 2.
It was a brutal crash up at Mackay, and it really took him by surprise. I spoke to him, he just said he didn't even see it coming. Unfortunately out for the foreseeable future, a lower limb surgery, and he's going to be counting down the days, and absolutely devastating.
Yeah, and I tell you what, this recent news as well, that the championship leader, Honda Racing's Kyle Webster, is out this weekend as well after a bad training accident.
Yeah, devastating news for the Honda crew, and of course Kyle Webster was only days after he secured the red plate and the championship lead in that MX1 class, and he had a pretty major practice crash midweek, only 2 or 3 days after. So he will be out just like CLOUT for the foreseeable future, and you really have to ask yourself who's going to try to grab this championship by the scruff of the neck.
Totally, it's exciting stuff, but our very own Danny Ham caught up with the man himself.
I have Honda Racing's Kyle Webster here. Kyle, mishap leading up to this round. Can you just fill us in a little bit more about what's happened?
Yeah, just unfortunately had a bit of a crash during the week and landed on my feet and broke my left foot quite badly. I had to get that fixed last week, and my right ankle, which is luckily not so bad. I can put a little bit of pressure onto that and get around, but yeah, it's just one of those things. Unfortunately, I'm spewing, but what can you do, I suppose? So no, I'm looking forward to making a good recovery, and hopefully I can be back for the last couple if it's possible. But yeah, I'm just going to have to see. Unfortunately, it's a little bit too early to tell.
Thanks, mate. We're really looking forward to being back out there.
Thank you.
It's great to see Kyle back at the track and on the mend, but that really means that the championship is wide open, Lee. It's pretty cool.
Absolutely. Now, as we take Kyle Webster out of the equation, we've got Aaron Tanti sitting in prime position at the moment, but only 3 points back is Todd Waters. He's looking menacing. A lot of talk is about Dean Ferris and that he's in fine form, but he's 22 points back. He's got a lot of work to do. Can't put a foot wrong.
Yeah, well, let's take a look at the championship points. So with Kyle Webster sidelined for round 3, Aaron Tanti is the provisional championship leader. And hot on his heels are Husqvarna's Todd Waters and KTM's Kirk Gibbs. So keep an eye on those three. It will be elbows out this weekend. But let's take a look at the track ahead with Lee Hogan and MX rider and expert commentator Danny.
Well, Danny Ham, the track looks absolutely fantastic here at Wodonga. We're not too far away from MX1 Moto 1 getting underway, and it's going to be exciting times.
It is. We've already seen a few races on the day, and it is going to be amazing racing. If anything that we've already seen is to go by. So the track a little different to what we saw in our track preview. The guys did so much work, and we are ready for this, hey?
Well, the last time these riders saw this track was earlier on in the day. Totally different now. Let's take a quick look at the start list for the Thor MX1. Kirk Gibbs, Aaron Tanti, Brett Metcalf, Todd Waters.
Yeah, Matt Moss, Melross also with a great one. Jobin Baldwin, a name that we're not used to seeing. So good to see him up there.
Jaden Rikers, Joel Whiteman, Dylan Wood, Zachary Watson there in the list. We've also got Kai Orchard.
A few more riders rounding out. Riley Stevens, our 24 rider gate for the MX1, and this is going to be an absolute rip snorter.
Well, Gibbs, Tanti and Ferris lined up next to each other. That's just fantastic to see. It's going to be really interesting to see who jumps out of that gate a little bit ahead.
For their first starts too on the grate, there is plenty of traction for these guys to make sure they launch out. So if they're not ready to get underway with this one, they could wheelie and lose that initial jump very quickly. As we are set to get this one going, the board has gone sideways. Who is going to get the start for moto number 1 of the MX1 Thor MX MX1 class. Oh, the boys.
Ferris up the inside, but it's Matt Moss. What a hot shot from that Yamaha rider there. He will have the bit between his teeth. Dean Ferris slots straight into second place.
Well, Mossy started a little wider than everyone else. Everyone up the inside, I guess, was looking to do that conservative and safe line. Just looking behind them, there is Gibbs. Kawasaki riding down. Rikers.
Jade Rikers looks to have gone down in a big way on the Empire Kawasaki. But it looked to be... big mistake from Matt
And Gibbs off. Intani into him.
Both riders down and down hard. And it looks like Gibbs is hurt.
Definitely not feeling the best out of that. I was just about to mention, Gibbs has been hit.
That is how you can go from on top of the world to absolute devastation. Our fastest qualifier in the pole shootout to all of a sudden down and out here in the early stages of lap 1.
I was going to mention it before all that. It looked like the water on the track has really slowed up a lot of the guys. We looked to the 100% whole shot award, and that was given to Matt Moss. A brilliant start from a little bit wider as the Honda rider up front. 111, Dean Ferris, after we said 8th place in the qualifying. It was just an average lap. He's going to be ready to go, and he's proving it right now.
Well, his starts have been on point lately, Dean Ferris, that's for sure. The rider that does not want to wait is Todd Waters as he slots straight up into second place.
Look how much water has been put down between these races. It is so slippery at the moment, these guys just trying to work out the track and where the best place to go is. But you're right, Waters up into second place right now, 1.3 seconds back. A small gap being opened up on this very first lap. Metcalf, the old dog, just sitting back there in 4th place. He is going to be one to watch. These kind of tricky conditions are something that both of these guys actually going to work well with.
Well, good little update for the Thor MX1 leaderboard so far. Ferris, our race leader, back to Todd Waters, Matt Moss, Metcalf in 4th, and Baldwin up there in 5th place.
Nice start. Also, Dylan Wood, another privateer. Evans also in front of Melrose, looking down the list, 12th place back to Tanti after that crash. So he has dropped back a long way. As we see Melrose on the inside here, really getting pushed. Well, sorry, he just made the pass on Wood going through that turn.
On screen at the moment, Todd Waters, number 47 on the factory Husqvarna machine. He needs to try to keep tabs on the race leader, Dean Ferris, and he's doing so at the moment.
Tough off the front wheel by Ferris inside that run. It's still slippery through that part of the track. Waters on screen, just keeping touch at the moment. Plenty of racing on. How is the leg off the slide up the jump?
Scrub with the leg off the side, fantastic.
He's going to come back and watch that and go, yep, I totally meant that. To go down into this Dunlop right-hand turn in the back there. It is Metcalf around the outside of Moss. That's a brave move, but when you're working with these ruts, it's something you can work. He will have the inside into this next one. It does appear that he's going to make that pass stick. So Metcalf moves up into 3rd place.
Well, after a sensational start from Matt Moss, is managing to slow his way just ever so slightly back through the field. Ferris continues to lead though on the factory Honda HRC machine. 1.5 seconds the gap over Todd Waters. Ooh, big loft to the front wheel there from Matt Moss.
I've seen him do a couple of them so far. That 450 just reaching with power. Make it happen. Here's the board for Metcalf. He goes past the mechanics area. Into Max's turn right here. Metcalf has got some work ahead of him. 2.8 seconds back behind Waters at the moment. Waters looking good. Looking really good at the moment.
He's looking great. He's keeping the pressure on, and you need to keep that implied pressure on Dean Ferris. Who knows? You could make a mistake. That puts you in the perfect position to take a victory.
He's our leader. Dean Ferris, the 111. Racing Honda. Exceptional at the moment. Coming off such a great result up in Queensland at Mackay. Just back also behind them. Those other riders still battling it out. Shot to see how far back they are.
And 25 minutes plus a lap of duration here for Moto 1 of the MX1 category.
We are half race distance. Oh, wide line.
Drifted very wide. I don't know why that happened. It is the exact corner that he passed Ferris on. Completely missed the first 2 lines there. And I was about to say, how long can Todd Waters take this pressure from Dean Ferris?
Yeah, that was a lot of pressure, absolutely. It's maybe... Let's have a look at that back wheel. There was been talk of a lot of flat tyres being happening out on the track with previous rides, so possibly there might be something there. Or maybe, as you said, the pressure, maybe just let him go past so that you didn't have to worry about it, but he's dropping back quite quickly.
Yeah, and he might have pumped up a little bit. I know I've seen over the years there's been so many battles between Ferris and Waters where Todd Waters will just slot into pinning at mode. He'll go absolutely flat out and pump up a little bit.
Well, he needs to regroup at the moment and not let Ferris get too far in front. And right, just chopping everywhere. I think the tyre looks okay at the moment. I think it might have been just the fact that there was a lot of pressure and he tried to sustain that kind of riding. There was potential that it might have gone down and ended up in a much worse result than what it would have been if he let the pass happen just there.
Well, it looks like Brett Metcalf's found a couple of nice lines. He seems to be getting out of the main line and finding some nice grippy traction out there. So I'm wondering if he'll be able to pose a threat to Waters soon.
So 146 the last time around. We'll see as they go over the finish line now who has dropped off the pace. 144 is the difference. So it is Ferris that has stepped it up 2 seconds over his fastest time previous to that.
Talk about responding in the mid part of the race. 10 minutes to go.
There is the outside line, so it almost looked like he just went in a little bit too deep with that pressure from Ferris, but Ferris had the perfect line up the inside and moves himself into the lead and starting to stretch out that lead right now. So exactly what he said on the start line. Yes, we qualified 8th. Exactly my point. Qualifying doesn't mean everything. If you feel comfortable on the bike, which he said he did, he was good in the race. And right now, he is proving it.
Well, as we've said quite a few times, Dean Ferris knows how to race, he knows how to win, and he knows how to win championships. Now, if you give him a little bit of confidence, he's going to be dangerous. And what we saw from him in Moto 2 up at Mackay, we're seeing it again here now.
Through that sweeping Honda right-hand turn into the up one star left. As they make their way just past one of the back markers just there. The 1 machine on the Honda Ferris looking very comfortable. So choppy coming out of these turns as well. You can see those bikes dancing around as they're hitting all of those small accelerating bumps. So any of these boys got an answer to our race leader. Let's head back down to Kate.
Got Jared Pine, Dean Ferris as crew chief. He's found some pace out there. He looks like he's found a really good flow.
Yeah, it's probably the last 3 laps he's found the flow. He's changed a few lines and I don't know, he's found something out the back after the track and that's where he's making all his time. So just got to keep it going now.
Excellent, thanks, Jared.
Yeah, there was certainly a couple of lines he had that was working well.
Absolutely, and with 9 minutes on the clock in the Thor MX1 Moto 1, Ferris certainly seems to be showing everyone the way around this Wodonga track here. 1.7-second lead over Todd Waters.
Well, Waters isn't done just yet because he threw down his fastest lap for the race as well with 145.3 as they move into a few lapped riders. So not as quick as the fastest time done, but certainly he has picked up the pace again. Maybe just needed to take a breather and make another charge as we get towards the very end of this race. What a view this has been so far today, Lee. This track has turned out so good from what we saw. As we see now, the race lead is back on. Let's see what happens.
The pendulum swinging. It has just gone from one way to another. We started off with Ferris leading. Todd Waters made the pass. Did he pump up a little bit? And then we saw the pressure once again from Dean Ferris. And then almost looked like his pace was going to be unstoppable. Now another charge from Todd Waters as we get to the very late stages of this Moto 1.
I love the lap times. I'm just looking at it again. 146.149 for our race leader the last time. 146.174. These guys couldn't be any closer if they tried on their lap time. So it's going to take a mistake by one of these guys to really get any kind of clear result as to whether they're going to continue forward or fall back. But it was a good lap that time around, I would think. 45 for our race leader. So maybe they got caught up with a few lappers. Oh, both feet off by our race leader.
And a nice little kick out to the left as well. Now, fortunately, both of those mistakes wouldn't have cost him too much time whatsoever.
If anything, he's gapped Todd Waters a little bit, and that's brought Brett Metcalf back into play. It is still anyone's race at the moment.
These guys would have known exactly how long left in this race. There is Metcalf. Oh, this is good to see, isn't it? All three riders. We're not... You know, we haven't seen this much in the MX1 class. We usually see someone just get out front, run away, and everyone just fall into their positions. None of these guys are giving up at the moment, so great to see.
The balance of these riders, I don't know if you noticed then, Danny, but Todd Waters and Brett Metcalf, both feet up on the pegs, standing all the way through that rut, and that is the trickiest rut on this whole track.
Yeah, long way around that one. Eyes need to be up for sure of that. As we see our race leader, just stepping out of that rut into another one. And they've got their pass. This is where we saw Waters so close that last lap around through here. Inside line again, right there by Ferris. Works well every time, off to the side of this jump.
A beautiful line selection now. That right-hander, that previous corner, the Thor corner, everyone electing to go around the outside line. As we get a little bit closer towards the finish part of the track is where the options really start to come. And right there, here on the Dunlop corner, Waters around the outside, and Metcalf has a very nice middle line there.
And look at that clock counting down at 32 seconds.
Not going to make it.
No, these guys would have loved to have seen, or especially our race leader would have loved to have seen that last lap board, but it's not going to happen this time. He's going to have 2 laps left to go as they cross over now. Waters just back a little bit, not quite in striking distance. Metcalf, probably the biggest threat at the moment, as it started their second last lap around for Moto number 1.
Well, they're in single file formation at the moment. Factory Honda HRC rider Dean Ferris, you could visually see a sneaky look over to the left to his pit board right there, wondering what the information was. Keep it clean, stay smooth, you've got this. Todd Waters back there in second place. He's trying to do anything he can. He doesn't want to risk losing second place. You've got to remember the point situation that he's in at the moment. He's got a massive points lead over Dean Ferris, who's 1 position ahead of him. But Brett Metcalf there in third place, he also needs to try to make up some points.
If we get that same shot the next lap around, have a look at Metcalf's inside line. He didn't have a single bump on it. What a great line to find. So smooth, so smooth. The boys in front of him bouncing around all over the place. Much cleaner that time around for Ferris, but you can see the intensity by Waters at the moment. Real yo-yo affecting here between these riders.
An absolute eternity back to Melross in 4th place, 32 seconds behind. But then Aaron Tanti, what a ride to be able to get back up to 5th place. But he's a further 11 seconds behind Melross.
They will receive the last lap board this time around. You asked what might have been on the Honda pit board. Maybe it's 2 laps, maybe 2 more times around, buddy, and you've got this one.
There's that line that we spoke about from Brett Metcalf. He comes up the inside, and it's quite possibly going to set him up through here as he makes the left. No, I don't think. He just lost perhaps a little bit of time there, Danny.
Yeah, it's a bit of a tough one through that area of the track. Both of you guys, though, right up the inside here, that hook,
Danny,
that rut.
That Gabrielle turn, that right-hander before the finish, I'm waiting for someone to try a different line.
Yeah.
All 3 of them keep taking that same line. It's got the biggest hook at the end of it. Is that the only line? Surely there's got to be something there.
But it's been one of those things with this track, those inside lines, although they look slower, quite often have been quite quick getting around it as well. You see, nice line by Waters.
It was nice, but a little bit slippery coming out. It was game, but it paid off for him. These guys are close.
Oh, this could throw something into it right here. Who is going to go where? They're going to be stuck. See that inside there by Metcalf, so smooth as all the 3 riders now close right onto the back wheel of each other.
Beautiful speed, momentum from Brett Metcalf. He's going to be right there, ready to strike for this last lap. How will Dean Ferris deal with this pressure?
Well, we are going to have that answer very soon as they step over this one. This is the beat-in-the-bag corner for Ferris over the last few laps. Again, that
back
front
to the
wheel.
inside, that is soft and fragile, that last part of the exit.
Only a few more turns to go in this one. At the moment, I'm still thinking that Ferris has got this one in the bag. Looks so comfortable off to the side of the jump slightly. Really going between these 2 here. I think it's just a little bit too far between them at the moment.
I think all 3 have just separated ever so slightly. Beautiful form and technique from Dean Ferris as he comes through with only a handful of corners to go, Danny Ham.
up and over these last couple of tabletops. Look into the back of Metcalf. He's putting a big push on here. Will we see a pass made? They're definitely going to have some different lines. Too wide, though, by Metcalf.
Metcalf, at least he attempted a different line here. Final turn coming through for the factory Honda HRC rider, Dean Ferris in the Thor MX1 Moto 1 checkered flag, and victory to the Honda rider.
Wow, what a race. It's not often we see such a close gap between our first three riders at the end of the moto. Fantastic to watch.
What a race, Danny Ham. That was amazing. Just 1 second back to Todd Waters and less than a second to Brett Metcalf. And then a huge 41-second gap it is back to Hayden Melross.
We just wait for him to come across the line, and a few more of our riders working their way around this very treacherous track at the moment. Those ruts you can see well deeper than those foot pegs as they go up and over the finish line.
Back-to-back moto wins for Dean Ferris. Let's take a look at the Thor results. MX1 Moto 1, Dean Ferris with the win. Back to Todd Waters, Brett Metcalf in third place, and Hayden Melross.
Tanti, of course, after that crash earlier on. Baldwin Gibbs up to 7th. That is an exceptional ride. Really looking forward to seeing how he goes in the next one.
I don't know who was more excited about that second win of yours, you girls or you?
Yeah, the girls are always excited, even when I'm out practicing and I have a good day. So it's good to have them supporting here. But no, I'm excited. It was a good moto. I got a good start and got in the lead quite quick because Mossy made a mistake. And then, yeah, I just couldn't find my lines. But when Todd got in front, it gave me an opportunity to explore the track. And then when I found my lines, I found a bit of intensity, made a pass back, and I was able to bring it home.
Yeah, you found new lines up the back, and you handled the pressure really well.
Yeah, there's a lot of pressure there. Like, I know Gibbs was right behind Todd as well, and tricky track. So I just, just had to use all the skill I had, and I'm glad that I could get a win.
Really important points for your championship campaign.
Yeah, it sure is. Round one wasn't so great, but I've been clawing my way back. So just want to keep the momentum rolling, keep poised, keep trying to improve on myself on the bike, and then, just keep going forward.
Great. Good luck with the second moto, Dean.
Thank you.
Let's take a look here at the Thor MX1 lineup for Moto number 2. Kirk Gibbs, Aaron Tanti, Brett Metcalf, Todd Waters, Matt Moss, and Hayden Melross.
David Baldwin, Dean Ferris, 8th place in qualifying, but certainly not where he finished. Lucky Latmia and Joel Evans. And out of top 10, and we are set to get this one underway at home. What a Moto number 1 we had. If anything is like that one again, everything's next to, I cannot wait to get this one underway.
This is where things get a little bit crazy, don't they? So Moto 1 with 25 minutes plus a lap. This is not the case here. We have back-to-back races here. Each one 13 minutes plus a lap. And we're in the starter stands here. 5-second boards up. 13 minutes plus a lap duration. Drop of the gate is now.
Will Mossy launch out like he did the last time, or will it come from the inside? Moss around the outside again, but it's going to be close. Looks like
Dean Ferris once again. He has logged himself some serious hole shots this year.
It's almost half the copy. Gibbs going around the outside once again as they go down this back straight. It is Ferris that leads this one. Metcalf sits pretty there in third place as well. Mossy all over the place coming into that turn.
Into second place already.
They settle themselves into this early race, a sprint race. 13 minutes, like you said, before they have a quick break and then back out to do it all again. Metcalf there in second place. Who'd you pick for sprints on these first 4 laps?
Well, this is looking ominous. Whole Shot Award brought to you by 100% goes to Dean Ferris. Once again, he's logging up a few of these Whole Shot Awards.
If I had a bit of money for each one of them, you'd be doing quite well for yourself. You see Ferris there leading there. Yeah, so getting back to what we were saying, Lee, who do you see as your sprint laps on this opening lap?
Well, look, I think that for all of these guys, they've got the fitness to go 25 plus a lap, no problem whatsoever. But it comes down to start. It's a different level of intensity that you need to go when you're going the shorter sprint races, right? And what I see is riders such as Matt Moss, who perhaps doesn't quite have a half an hour in him at that full pace. This could be his opportunity to shine, but he needs to try to find the pace of a Ferris or a Metcalf up at the head of the pack at the moment. Tanti needs to try to make amends from that first race. So it's going to be interesting to see what he's doing. He's right up there in the mix, and likewise with Gibbs there.
Ross almost loses the bike out, coming out of that hook rut up the inside there in that final turn, as we see on screen Tanti trying to put that pressure on Gibbs, who we saw both of these riders coming together in the first moto. Great to see that Gibbs is back up there and looks like he's riding at 100% as well after that big hit from Tanti in the back of the helmet. But they've got some work ahead of them because Ferris is starting to move out in front.
Starting to stretch out, and it's looking very ominous for the rest of the pack. Ooh, that was almost could have been in the wrong run, perhaps, that he wasn't aiming for. But Tanti around the outside, he is showing some blistering pace at the moment, and he wants to be a part of this battle for the lead. He needs points to be made back up once again, because he knows you can't let Dean Ferris get out on a roll and keep logging win after win after win. Sooner or later, he's going to bring that points deficit back.
As we see, is that
Melross
in the picture?
Yes,
I wonder what happened there. We get a good result out of the first one.
Going down, obviously trying to straighten the bars out of the throttling issue.
Doesn't even have the hand guard on that right side anymore, snapped off, so yes, he's had an issue somewhere out there.
It's Dean Ferris, and particularly I'm so impressed with the privateer, Brett Metcalf. We haven't seen him ride like this in the last couple of years on the factory teams that he's ridden for. He's out there having fun. He's grown his hair out. He looks like he should be up in Byron Bay with a surfboard under his arm or something. He's out here riding with the kind of hunger that we just love to see from him. His lines that he's choosing. He has so much international experience. If you look at all of these riders, yeah, Ferris has done some spectacular things overseas, but look at what Metcalf's done in America, in Canada, just done some amazing things.
How was that turn right there? That was ripping in as well. So Metcalf still the bit between his teeth. He looks so comfortable. And when you ride like this, you feel so good. You go away happy, you enjoy your day, and it just gives you that motivation to keep pushing further and further in this championship. So he's going to be very happy with what he is seeing right now. How's it bouncing?
3 minutes to go. A little bit of a mistake there as he didn't tip it in quite tight enough on that inside line there, and that's lost him just a little bit of ground, and unfortunately on a section where Ferris is so fast through this part of the track. However, he found himself in a line there with a couple of big bumps. I liked his line that he had a couple of laps ago.
Outside where he's been going the last couple of laps, so we've got probably 3 laps to go in this one. Metcalf hasn't dropped back too much. Third place this time now, a full second faster. So it's not done yet for Tanti. Maybe he's just been having a look around, finding some new lines, watching these two boys and working out what works best for them.
Another push up the inside there from Brett Metcalf, and he's still right on the back.
Oh, not anymore, he's not.
Oh, huge crash, and nowhere to go for Tanti.
That's what happens when you get locked into those ruts.
Yeah, nowhere to go. It looks, yes.
No, that's an official, I think.
Okay.
Oh, smoke. Oh, I don't think that bike will make it to the end.
No, look, that's not oil, that's water, I believe. That's coolant. So let's have a look and see what's happened here in our Honda replay. So he's gone up the inside a little tighter.
Overbalanced, I think.
And he's got cross-rutted, high-sided on a rut, not being able to lean in. And Tanti, with nowhere to go, had to jump on the anchors. And that has just gifted his boys, just like Santa Claus, handing out gifts to Dean Ferris, who's just given him a 7-second gap now over Aaron Tanti back there in second place. However, good points for Tanti, who will, I believe, still have a nice championship points lead if things continue this way. But let's not forget that this is only part 1 of the back-to-back here for Moto 2.
So this is the way the points were heading into this particular race. Right. There was only a few points between Waters and Tanti. So certainly out the back of this one, yep, Tanti should look like to hold the lead with the result that he's getting at the moment. 4 laps to go, and he should have that one in the bag. So we are almost done in this one. 2 laps to go. They should get the last lap board around the next time. The time will expire, but that lead is just stretched out huge, and Gibbs is starting to pick up the pace.
Well, as you said, Danny, Todd Waters with the provisional championship points lead at the moment currently sits himself in 6th place in part 1 of this back-to-back.
but he's only 1.5 seconds behind Jaden Reich, as he really does need to try to get up into that top 5, because back-to-back points, they accumulate their Olympic point scoring. Anything can happen in the second part of this moto.
Sideline there for Gibbs. He's starting to find that nice smooth form. 3 seconds almost difference that last lap around for Gibbs compared to Aaron Tanti. As they work through Michelin turn just there, up and over this big jump again. Hard landing, isn't it, off that jump? For both of these guys, nice line around the outside. Gibbs come back after such a big hit in that Moto #1 and get that second place away.
Well, I think perhaps what we're seeing here is that Aaron Tanti, 5 seconds a lap slower than Dean Ferris in that last lap, and a good 3 seconds slower than Kirk Gibbs. So I think what's happened is, and you could tell from his body language during that first part of the race, he was charging hard like there was no tomorrow. I think he may have pumped up a little bit, and it's easy to think to yourself, well, it's only 13 minutes plus a lap. 13 minutes plus a lap on a track like this, if you ride at 110% effort, you'll pump up really quickly. So Gibbsy is kind of like the Ryan Dungey diesel. He just sort of keeps going here. Looks like he's made a couple of little mistakes just in these last couple of corners before the finish. Last lap board out, we have a look at the times, 1:46. So Tanti has stepped up and got a 1:45 that time. So I believe it was obviously a big mistake that he has made, for sure.
Yep, the times don't lie. 44.9 for Gibbs, so still slightly faster. As you look just here at the bottom of the screen, Gibbs diving down around the outside there. He knows it's last lap and this is his last chance.
So those ruts that we just saw just there, they're the ones that Brett Metcalf have come down, and we've rarely been able to see those. Tanti trying to keep that Yamaha ahead of the KTM up the inside for Gibbs here.
And the swing into this left hand from where Gibbs is, it's a bit of a smoother run in.
They'll be having nightmares of the first moto in that section of the track.
Yeah, it was a big hit. So Tanti still managing to hold on to second place at the moment and stretches out 10, 15, 20 metre lead over third place of Gibbs. Ferris, though, just cruise control at the moment. Looking at all these new lines, again, he has to back this up in just 10 minutes from the time he goes across this finish line.
It's the Ferris of old that we're seeing, but the one thing that's really dangerous, especially with these back-to-backs, for his competitors, is how consistent his starts have been. When was the last time that you've seen him out of the top 2? I can't remember his last whole shot at Moto 1, whole shot at both at round 2.
Yeah, well, there's some testing done after Mackay had a great result up there, but they did some more work on the bike, found something that he thought was a much better fit through the suspension, and it's showing today as he works his way around to the last turn and will take the checkered flag for part 1 of this Moto #2. Tanti does come across in second and Gibbs in third.
I was really intrigued by seeing the drone shots and everything. They're great. They just don't show you the depth of those ruts. And to see the amount of choices that they have, that kind of goes a long way to explain why we're seeing some of the mistakes that we're seeing, and of course, some of the crashes and the cartwheels that we're seeing. One of the things I also wanted to mention was it really goes a long way to explaining how hard it is to set these bikes up when you've got really tacky ruts, but then also dry and rocky circumstances leading into and out of the corners. It makes it difficult for tyre selections, makes it difficult also for suspension setup. So we can see why riders such as Brett Metcalf, huge crash that we saw just before. 5-second board sideways, second part of the back-to-back. Will Dean Ferris get another whole shot? Beautiful start from Ferris, and yes, once again, another whole shot for the Honda HRC machine, but this time it's Aaron Tanti that slots himself up into second place right from the get-go.
Nice start there for Ferris through those really tricky parts, and that sunlight, Lee, is absolutely playing into it.
Yeah, well, that was great. Well, you catch your breath there, Danny. Amazing job there. Whole shot, the 100% whole shot there for MX1 Moto 2, Dean Ferris. No surprises there for the 111. I'll let you catch your breath, Danny Ham, as you've made your way back from the other side of the track. And wow, it is on at the head of the pack. Tanti all over the back of Ferris at the moment.
That is really tough through that corner as well. It's hard to see on camera. It's just so loose, and then there's grippy ruts, and then it's just massive square edge bumps. So hard to get through there.
The way that I'm thinking at the moment is Tanti needs to try to capitalise at the moment and try to throw a wheel up the inside of Dean Ferris, because history has shown us over the last 3 races that you cannot let Dean Ferris get into too much of a rhythm.
And you've got to do it early. You can't let Ferris, as you said, get into that rhythm. With each lap that he controls his lead and does it smoothly, the less chance you are going to have of being able to run up there and make that pass.
Oh, and Ferris just found a beautiful line up the inside. He's been searching. He won't give in, and he keeps searching until he finds a good line, and that's a very, very tricky part of the track. No bumps, and it's not a long distance around the outside there. So lap 1 in the books here, and we have Dean Ferris from Aaron Tanti back to Kirk Gibbs, Todd Waters, Brett Metcalf.
Oh, look at this. Sorry to jump in. You were just looking away for a second, but yeah, Tanti is right there. He is trying everything he can to try and make that pass nice and early, keeping that pressure on the Gibbs. He's looking good too.
Yeah, Gibbs is looking in fine form at the moment. He came on strong in the latter stages of the first of these back-to-backs. Now, he probably would have been having a little bit of a talking to from the team manager. Look, you can't afford to let these guys go and then come on strong. You need to stay strong the whole time. Yellow flags being waved at one part of the track, trying to pick who that is, who's gone down. Someone's gone down hard, and that is the very next section after where Brett Metcalf went down.
Through the long right hand. Oh, the backhand stepping way out on Ferris right there. They're the kind of things, and again, another small mistake going into that turn. They're the things that can just blow you up straight away. The arm pump comes into it very quick, especially when you have the pressure of a Yamaha sitting in behind you.
He'll be able to hear that bike there, and that's where Tanti needs to make the most. Just at least make sure he sees the blue fender up the inside.
Keep that pressure on, try and force those mistakes. So we see a couple of different lines going through this part of the track. Nice and quick out of that corner by Ferris as they go into that very last
This
turn.
next section here is where Ferris has found himself a nice line far inside and then straight up there. Not one bump. Look at the gap that he just pulled straight away.
A long way around the outside just then, wasn't it? All the way. So Tanti needs to address that one, but he makes it back up.
Exactly. It's a little bit of a to and froing going on right there. And it's going to be the one that picks up quicker the other person's lines, because at the moment, it's Tanti behind that's seeing, he's spotting all of these good lines. Look
This
at
is what he did last time. Sorry, so good.
Pass now, you can. What an awesome insight to be able to see what's going straight into the heads of these riders. Motocross, it's one of the only elements of motorsport where we don't get to speak to our technicians or our mechanics. We don't have ears in our helmets. We can only get a pit board, so that's their only chance to get any form of feedback.
This is much closer this time for Tanti as we see Ferris looking for that new line. Tanti around the outside, but it's going to put him to the outside here. Can he swing around? He certainly has got the momentum, but he is very wide. Watch the swing back here by Ferris, but I don't think he's going to be able to do it. Very wide.
Yeah, but a little bit cross-rutted by Tanti, but have a look at the gap that he just pulled just right there.
And I want to bring into the picture as well, Todd Waters is just in behind them too. There he is, just entering screen. So we are not done by any means in this race. Tanti, though, very fast. Ferris with the fastest lap last time around, but the press or looking forward to seeing what that lap time will be for Tanti this time.
Well, this is the critical point. All eyes have got to stay on Dean Ferris. Is he going to rebound? Did he just make a mistake? Did something happen? He's going to be back right on the back end of Tanti. Tanti picked up on that line a little bit there, and he's got a better line in this next corner. Now, will Ferris pick up on it? Is he going to go for the outside? No, yeah, he's gone for that same line. He's lost a little bit more time.
Well, Tanti was the one sitting in the prime seat, wasn't he?
Yes.
Sitting behind Ferris, looking at what worked, what didn't work. So now he's able to put that into play. You see the lap times quite different.
Tanti with a 144 and a 146 for Dean Ferris, but a 145 for Gibbsy, and then Waters and Metcalf both in the 44s as well. Waters is already starting to close in ever so slightly. It's I don't know what it is, and Danny, tell me if you don't agree with me here. I think that when it comes to a head-to-head battle, I've seen it so many times over the years. I think even back to your 2015, 2016 years, when Ferris and Todd Waters go head-to-head,
something happens occasionally where Ferris smooths out a bit and Todd Waters tends to just get a bit too aggressive. Let's have a look here and try to figure out. It's leaning in a bit, but not enough. He was a bit confused as to what rut to be in, and it's sort of half in one, half in the other.
Yep.
And that's very, very easy to do.
Cannot half commit to any of these ruts, as we see the 48 machine on screen. A bit further back than we've seen him up there before. But yeah, it's getting to that last couple of laps right now.
Baldwin,
yeah, it's all the way back.
Yeah,
because he's about to get lapped.
Yes, he obviously had some kind of incident, that's for sure. A nice little gap, 1.4 seconds, first back to second, and second back to third, 1.8. So starting to stabilise ever so slightly, just 2 minutes left on the clock. So it's right at this stage now where I think we're possibly going to see one last charge from Dean Ferris to try to, he'll be thinking quite possibly, look, if I put pressure on Tanti, he couldn't force a mistake here. You know, is he getting to that stage where he's starting to get a little bit gassed? And we see a totally different change of lines there. Ferris starts to ease up even closer to the back of the Senior Yamaha Monster Energy rider.
Yeah, I agree with you, Lee. I don't know if he necessarily thinks he's definitely going to make the pass, but he certainly wants to put that pressure on and see if he can push that mistake. We are essentially at the end of a big moto. They have had a small break in between. I can tell you that none of them looked like they were just relaxed coming off that. They were working out of that first one. So in now.
That's a beautiful inside line there that Dean Ferris just had. He throws it up to the inside. He's got himself a nice little line there. Now those two corners combined, if he is 1 metre closer next lap, that's a passing opportunity right there. Not sure about that outside. We'll wait and see how it didn't lose as much as I thought. It definitely lost a little bit of time. But what Tansy needs to be very careful of is the back part of the track when they get close to that final section. That inside line that Dean Ferris has got is so fast, and it slots him straight into the inside on the next left-hander.
Ferris has been working through small lap rides. Oh, held up massively by Tanti by that left rider for Tanti. Oh, and a mistake again.
And here we go.
Yeah, the pass looks to be made, but Tanti's very fast around the outside.
Oh, beautiful around the outside. He will hold the inside here. What have we got from Ferris? Will he try to come back up the inside?
Oh,
this
nice.
is where the original pass was made by Tanti around the outside. So can he control it? Oh, big mistake. Is that going to be enough for Tanti to shut it down? The response from Ferris, another big mistake from Tanti.
And that's the pressure we spoke of right there. Just behind it, trying to force those mistakes. And it's paid off for Ferris right now as he works his way towards receiving the last lap award. I think the next time around, time's expired. So is that well-timed or what?
The racer's brain and that self-belief that we've got in Dean Ferris. I know he's a long way behind in the points, but you keep letting this guy get win after win after win. Before you know it, he's going to be in the title hunt.
Up and over. I did see, also I did speak to Metcalf about his bike. He says, yeah, that radiator is absolute toast at the moment. They were throwing whatever water they could have. I don't think he was even allowed to drink through that water into the radiators just to try and get that bike to the finish as they go around to receive the last lap award. Mistake there by Metcalf is dropping back just a little bit now from Waters as these riders have started to separate a little bit from each other. Looks to be that this may be how the rest of this race will play out.
You can see with Dean Ferris coming into that corner, he's holding his helmet down a little bit. He's doing that on purpose to use his peak to block out the sun because it's brutal out there. And you combine the sun in this part of the sky and then also the ruts, trying to pick and choose what rut to go into. I think we heard Brett Metcalf say before that was the cause of his crash. He just couldn't really see where he was going and he popped a big kick from a nasty bump. But look at the separation on the track already from Dean Ferris. This is a rider in fine form at the moment. This spells disaster for the rest of the field.
Just going for a quick look through the rest of the field as well. That is Melroth back there in 5th place. Evans with a good ride in 6th place. Whiteman, another good ride in 7th. And also Dylan Wood in front of Rikers, Watson, Norris Dunlop, as we see a small moment from our race leader. Not the pick you want to be doing on that very last lap.
Not at this stage of the race, that is for sure. Aaron Tanti at the moment, he is
tried his absolute hardest, a valiant effort from the CDR Yamaha Monster Energy rider, but it is all come up a little bit too short because the 111 Dean Ferris, the Honda HRC rider, has put together a flawless day here for the Penrite Oils ProMX Championship, brought to you by AMX Superstores. Wodonga is the place for him. He will be leaving here with a huge smile on his face, undefeated, comes through and takes the checkered flag and a fist pump, and that is the way to do it. He has made a statement in a big way, Danny Ham.
Yeah, he wants this championship. It's been thrown open to anyone to grab, and he has answered the call right now. You are right, he's a few points back, but rides like that, he's going to close up that gap in that championship oh so fast. And we are set to see an exciting end to this championship with another 5 rounds to go.
Oh, it's exciting times, and we're only 3 rounds in. We've had some cracking battles. We've had even more today. It was really good to see the likes of Ferris, Waters, Metcalf at times, Gibbsy, Kirk Gibbs, down in 22nd place.
So something has happened after we saw him have that moment.
Right, so
not sure what happened there.
To pick up on that, but I was just about to give him a pat on the back and say, wow, you know, we've seen some great battles from him. Jobin Baldwin are down in 21st, but his qualifying and to get into the pole shootout and then his first moto race, what an incredible job for privateer Jobin Baldwin. But it was all about Dean Ferris, and it really has been a cracking day for Honda, dominating all of the categories.
Yes, he did. Great ride by him with Aaron Tanti in second, Waters then third, Metcalf, Melross and Evan Taylor.
Let me correct myself, did not dominate all the categories. Bailey Malkowicz, Serco Yamaha.
I got Todd Waters from Husqvarna, my friend. That was a bit of a wild roller coaster of a back-to-back moto.
Yeah, it definitely was, Kate. For me, I went down in the first turn in that first moto and got myself back to 5th. So I was pretty pumped with that ride, but I was just at the wrong end of the field. So I was watching Dean just ride away with it, and after a battle in that first moto, I definitely wanted to be up there. And second moto, I didn't get the best start, come through and got behind Dean and Tanny, and then Dean made a late charge and got into the lead. So just a little bit far back. It's all my fault to the starts, but overall my speed was good, bike's working good. So thanks to Husqvarna and everyone who's backing me.
Excellent stuff. Congratulations on P3, Todd Waters, and in P2, Aaron Tanti from CDR Yamaha Monster Energy. That was a pretty excellent battle we watched go down out there for the second part of that back-to-back moto.
Yeah, you know, it was a good battle. Me and Dean traded positions. Unfortunately, got me with 2 laps to go. But, you know, I'm happy to finish the day pretty strong. I obviously had a really bad first moto, bit of bad luck, just another rider going down in front of me. But, you know, I'm happy to walk out of here with some more consistent results and, you know, only 1 point off the lead. So.
All important points, well done.
Thank you.
And in P1, Dean Ferris from Honda Racing Team. One word, domination.
Yeah, it was a good day. Apart from qualifying, I was 8th. I'll sort that out eventually, but yeah, I was getting really good starts all day, and that was critical for the back-to-back, so really happy.
Excellent stuff. Well, congratulations, and we'll see you at the next round.
Yeah, thank you. Huge shout out to Honda and all the mechanics. I put them through the ringer sometimes with the amount of work that I demand on them, but this is why we all do it. All the hard work's paying off, and I'm clawing my way back into this championship, so I'm pretty happy.
Yeah, fantastic. Good. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Back to you, Lee.
Thanks, Kate. Well, very dangerous form we are seeing from Dean Ferris. Let's take a quick look here at the Thor Championship points in the MX1 after round 4. Todd Waters leads by 1 point with 118. Tanti back in 117. Dean Ferris is making his way up at 107 points. Brett Metcalf, 103, back to Kirk Gibbs in 5th place. Kyle Webster still there in 6th with 85 points, even missing a total round here. So we'll just take a quick look at the calendars coming up. Make sure you pop into your calendars round 4 of the Penrite Oils ProMX Championships, brought to you by AMX Superstores, as it heads to the City of Churches in Adelaide, May the 29th. We're going to head down now to Kate.
Wow, what an unbelievable day of racing in all the classes. So let's talk about some highlights from the weekend, Danny. MX2, there's a lot of blue going on in there.
Wow, it's been really mixed up a bit, hasn't it? Of course, Wilson Todd's so fast. We see that every single time, but there has been some new blood that's just found their form. Riders that we know should be up there have started to believe in themselves, and I think they are going to start challenging for the rest of the rounds too. So watch this space. It's definitely not decided yet.
Yeah, 100%. And then there's MX1, of course. Dean Ferris from Honda Racing has answered the call. It is excellent to see him back on the top step.
Yeah, I tell you what, it was great to see him get up there, and yeah, he did answer the call, but so did everyone else. You know, there's plenty of guys that have just walked into here going, we need to step it up right now, and they have. You know, they're excellent racing. And I guess, you know what, biggest highlight is the racing all day. Today's racing was sensational. I cannot wait to get to the next round.
Your smile is so big, it's fantastic. Now let's talk about the next round, because we're heading to Gilman, South Australia on the 29th of May, which we missed out on last year. But what can we expect from that track and from these riders? Who's going to dominate? We've got a couple of home track boys there as well.
Yes, big point, home track guys. So Larwood, so fast here today, has been in other rounds. He's my pick for the next round, okay, in the MX2. You've got the home guys of Metcalf, you know, guys that have done so many laps. It is really a big track to work with, and yeah, I think it's going to be great.
Excellent stuff. Well, we'll see you there. Make sure you head online to promx.com.au, and we will catch you at the next round. Bye.